Rockwell Radio.
Brothers and sisters,
Radio. Rockwell Radio.
brothers and sisters,
Radio. Radio. Rockwell Radio.
brothers and sisters,
Radio.
Yo, this is Problem 13 of Wolverine.
Radio.
I'm listening to
Radio.
DJ Rockwell. Holla!
Peace. This is DJ Rockwell, the nation's number one DJ. Welcome to episode number 2. You are tuned in live right now with yours truly, the nation's number one DJ, DJ Rockwell. I can't thank everyone enough, man, for tuning in the Saturday before. We had such a great time. I want to thank Brother Miles Muhammad, James Baum, A-Tone the B-Boy, Jihad Muhammad, Enoch Muhammad, Hashim, Hakeem. I hope I'm not leaving out anybody. We had an awesome time discussing a great topic. And tonight, we've got another great topic. Again, this is episode number 2. And somebody might be asking, bro, what we need another podcast for? I just want to be clear. The reason why I do this, because number one, I ain't DJing right now because of the pandemic. and number 2, there's a great relationship between the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the culture of hip hop. I happen to be a brother that came in the nation at the age of 23, and I had a love for hip hop. And I didn't know what to do with that expression when I joined the nation. And it just so happened that there's a place for that. But so often we think that it doesn't exist. This show is to talk about hip hop, culture, music, politics, current events, and this great wisdom that was given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his star student, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. So having said that, let me say this. The thought of the day that I'll share will begin with this. Brother Vaughn ain't no guru. I don't know everything. I don't purport to be a scholar. I don't claim to be a know-it-all. I just claim to be a student. And it's the best place to begin. Begin as a student. So today's study is going to be on something that is very personal to me. And that's one thing this show is going to do. It's going to be personal. We're going to talk to people and we're going to get into some things. Today, for example, we're going to take your personal phone calls live on the air right now. Excuse me, not right now, later in the show, in the second half of the show. And we're going to talk about this very personal subject, which is personal to me. Here's why. This show that you're watching right now almost didn't happen. Fear and self-doubt. And that's what the name of the show is. Beating the internal enemies, fear and self-doubt. I've wanted to do this show, family, for years. For a long time, but I always was nervous about, was I ready? Did I have what it takes? Do I have the gumption, the flair, the swag, do I have the information, the knowledge? And I doubted myself and I waited and I held on and I waited. Days went by, weeks became the months and months became years. And now I finally realized fear was my biggest restriction. Fear was my biggest enemy. And somebody out there watching this show right now there's something that you want to do. There's something that you want to conquer. There's something that you want to challenge, but you're afraid of what other people might think about you. I want to share with you what happens to a lot of us in our childhood. We get told that we're not good enough. We get told that we're too big, we're too fat, we're too skinny, we're too tall. Your hair's too long, your hair's too short. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. And guess what happens? You eventually believe it. You eventually believe that you are not worthy, that you're not good enough. And you go through life now as an adult, hesitant. And you don't try it. Everybody else says, come on, try it, join us. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to play basketball. I ain't that good. Nah, I ain't gonna open that business. I might fail. You know what? Fear has locked you in. And tonight we want to talk about it. I want to say one last thing before we bring on my special guest and co-host, and it's somebody that you all know. I want you all first to tag somebody. Share the show. Let them know that DJ Rockwell, the nation's #1 DJ, is on the air right now. And the show topic tonight is beating the internal enemies, fear and self-doubt. It's interesting about our stagnation individually and as a community. When we think about what I just talked about, internalizing fear, and we build what they call an inferiority complex. You ever realize that in the word inferiority is the words in fear? We have internalized fear, therefore making ourselves inferior. All we got to do is stand up and cast off fear. So without further ado, I want to bring on a brother out of Chicago, a brother that is very active in Muhammad Mark's #2 headquarters, somebody that you all know very well. He's a bass player. He's an MC. He's a father. He's a husband. And he's got a lot. Matter of fact, he's got a hot new single out right now. And we're going to bring him on a little bit, play a little bit of this single right here. I want y'all to get ready for my man. He's bad now. He's a bass player. He knows the funk. His name is Michael Muhammad, a.k.a. Apacolips. This is his new single from Black Dawn. Let's listen to it. Hey. Come on. Huh? What? Get ready now. Everybody should be clapping your hands. Everybody should be sharing this video. Hey! Come on, come on. Don't stop. Everybody sing. I want you to get ready for my brother, Michael Muhammad, better known as Apacolips. Here we go. Hey! Come on. Don't stop. My brother. Let's listen to a few of his bars real quick. Let's listen to a few real quick. Come on. Tag somebody, y'all. Y'all give it up for my brother and yours. Right here live on the Rockwell Radio Show. Brother Michael, a.k.a. Apacolips. What's good, black man?
Hey, Assalamu alaikum, soldier. How you feeling, God?
Alaikum salam, my brother. Man, thank you for being my co-host today. You know what? I just realized something. I told you I wanted you to be the co-host, but I never told you what to do. What does that entail?
You already know. I hear it all day, man. You call me, I'm coming. You know what I mean?
My brother, the job is simple. Have a good time.
Come on. You know I know how to do that, right?
The job is have a good time.
Yeah,
and brother, all I want you to do is chime in and share your experience, talk with the people, and accept your own and be yourself and have a good time with this thing, bro.
Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I just played your new single called Shine Your Light. Tell us a bit about your history as a musician. Let's get to know our co-host a little bit. Talk to him about who is Black Dawn, who is Apacolips.
Okay. Well, in terms of as a musician, it goes back to my first love, of course, being a bass player. And I was 12 years old, and I was a member of Union Temple Baptist Church in Washington, D.C., Reverend Willie Wilson. And at the time, the great Richard Smallwood was the minister of music, gospel singer. Angela Wimbush, who had become R&B, she was in the choir.
Right.
It was a lot of greats in there, you know. And this particular Sunday, I don't remember what song they were saying, but they was in the groove, you know. And I was locked. And this brother named Aaron Graves was playing the bass. He was gone. And I was like, and I was captivated. And it grabbed me. You know, I loved all the music, the instruments and all of that, the singing and everything. But it was something about Aaron Graves playing that bass and the zone he went in.
Right.
It just grabbed me. You know what I mean? And so after service, I went to my mom. I was like, I want one of those.
Come on, man.
Call it. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was a guitar, but I ain't no bass guitar or whatever. I said, I want one of those. You know what I'm saying? And mom's got me one of those, you know? And that's where it all started, you know? And
Come on.
So I became, you know, she bought me the bass. She brought me a little 45 record that showed you how to tune it. You know what I'm saying? So I learned how to tune it with that, you know, humming the notes, finding the sound. So once I tuned it, man, I got to messing around, didn't know what I was doing, but I used to listen to the records, you know, put the 45 on. As soon as I hear the first bass note, I'll turn it off, hum it, then I'll find it. And that's where music began with me, you know what I'm saying? It got to a point where I can learn 3 or 4 notes at a time, you know, and then it got to a point where I could just groove with them, you know? And so that's the beginning of my journey as a musician, you know. And of course in DC, the live band was the thing, you know.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm
People
saying?
need to know about that DC, the live band connection.
Exactly. And so we used to go to the Go-Go, see Chuck Brown, Rare Essence, Experience Unlimited. And you know, every time I would go to the Go-Go, you know, I'm right up front watching the bass players. You know what I'm saying? And this brother Michael Neal, Funkin' they used to call him Funkin' with Rare Essence.
Come on, right.
He was doing some things, man. I said, oh, that's how you do that. You know what I'm saying? I heard the sound and I saw what he was doing, and I couldn't wait to get home. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to do that, you know? And so, boom. So music, that's where music started with me, you know? And in the bands, we didn't really play a lot of songs. We'd take a song and just groove with it, while the person on the microphone and the percussions carried the whole show. Call and response, just talking trash, you know what I'm saying? Talking trash to the crowd, right? And, that's my origin with music, you know? And so later on, you know, we can get into however much you want to get into with that, but later on, my brother was the MC. My brother was always the MC in the bands that we would put together.
Right.
We put a band together. He would always be on the mic. And in high school, we had a hip hop group called Force of 3. And they used to tell my brother, man, you got it, man. You can rhyme, man. You got it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my brother started rhyming, you know? And so he was the first MC that attracted me to rhyming. You know what I'm saying? And that's the 80s. So towards the late 80s, hip hop pretty much took over. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking of that, let's take it to current day. Tell the world about your single that we just played and where they can find it and how that single came to be. And then we're going to jump into our subject.
Yes, sir. So fast forward, right before Savior's Day of last year, I put a little video together with my iPhone and just threw it on Facebook. It was a song that I did back in the day. And then the CEO of Dogface Records hit me up. Oh, he said, well, he said, hey, hit me, I can help y'all. You know what I'm saying? So my brother got in touch with him. Long story short, you know, he let us know what he was trying to do with us. It sounded good for us. We looked at it, boom, we got involved. So he sent us some songs. He sent us like 3 songs, and it was a test though, because he sent us that song he was just playing, and he sent us a couple of trap songs. Right?
Trap, okay.
Yeah, because he was testing us. He was saying, I want to see which one y'all gonna pick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Y'all trying to be somebody else or y'all trying to be yourself? That was really the test. And so we grabbed that joint because that was more our flavor. You know what I'm saying? And so, and the lyrics popped up in my head. Well, not the lyrics per se, but the thought of shine your light. We're in this dark world, you know. Shine your light. I call my brother shine your light. Whatever you write to that, that's what we doing with it.
Brother, you got a hit joint on your hands, and we definitely gonna give that song some burn right here on the Rockwell Radio Show, brother.
Yes,
and that's a great segue into our subject today, which is entitled "Beating the Internal Enemies: Self-Doubt and Fear, Fear and Self-Doubt." Like I was saying in the opening of the show, bro, man, it took me a minute to get to this point, to get in front of this camera, or to get behind the wheels, or to just open my mouth on the mic and stuff and just talk. Because we are so handcuffed by what people gonna say or people gonna think, and sometimes we cheat ourselves out of our destiny because we're afraid or we have this internal self-doubt. And it's all right, Big Mike, you know what I want to do? I want to go to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and play a clip, and he's going to set the stage for this entire conversation. Stand by. Let's hear from the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Fear restricts whatever we are afraid of. That we fear makes us insecure. Whatever makes us afraid and insecure could cause us to bow. If we bow to that which we fear that has made us insecure, then there is no way that we could be Muslims. Whatever you fear gives you a sense of insecurity. You don't feel secure. The very fact that you feel insecure is beginning to tamper with your being a Muslim. Because a Muslim is one who has been made secure. And having been made secure, enters into peace no matter what the circumstance is. Listen, 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 listen. When we are afraid, fear causes us not to think properly. Fear causes us not to act properly. Fear makes you so insecure that you have a tendency to acquiesce, to submit, to surrender to the thing that you're afraid of.
This is DJ Rockwell, and you tuned in right now to the Rockwell Radio Show. And you just heard from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who set the tone for this discussion. Big Mike, can you relate to that, bro?
Hey.
Are you there?
Oh, man, can I? In so many ways. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. There you go. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now you're good.
Yes, sir. In so many ways. Yes, sir.
So let's dig into it, my brother. In your life, tell us an example of something that gripped you and you had to break out that joint and face it, and now you celebrating the success.
Man, it's so many things. I can come to, well, I can start right from the beginning when I first came in the nation, you know. I was in processing class, and I was in there for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks straight. And the brother Hassan, he had already recruited me for his squad because he thought I was serious, right? Okay, this brother coming in, you know. So after class, you know, he said, you know what? I'm gonna give you these papers. I want you to go soldier these papers. Now I'm processing, you know what I'm saying? And this was 93. This was December of 1993. So it was cold outside. And also the minister had been crisscrossing the country in and out of the news, being pounded in and out of the news. So I got these papers, man, like I'm a new fruit. So I'm excited, but I'm afraid at the same time. Because I know I'm about to face some questions. I know people about to throw some things at me that I ain't ready to handle.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was nervous. But we went out there. We challenged it. We challenged that nervous energy. I went somewhere where I knew a brother was out there soldiering as well on the other side, right? But I'm gonna go and challenge this fear of being out there interacting with people who already know are going to throw some things at me that I'm not able to handle, you know? And so,
matter of fact, let me do this while you're on that subject.
yes, sir.
While
yes,
you're on that
sir.
subject, let me do this
Yes,
right here.
sir. So so we went out. It was cold, man. The first hour was depressing because of all of the different things people were throwing at me, you know. But I had to continue to talk to myself. Man, you out here for a reason. You out here for a purpose. I had to rise above all of that was going on inside of me. And then the first brother bought a paper from me, gave me a donation for a final call. And not only did he buy the paper, he gave me some encouraging words. Brother, keep on doing what you're doing, brother. You all doing a great job out here. And I was lifted, you know, and that's what I needed to get me through that, you know. And Allah blessed me to sell all of them papers.
Come on.
And I was excited. I couldn't wait to get back to the mosque to give brother this money, you know. And so I saw Brother Hassan, ran up to him. Brother, I sold the papers, boom, gave him the money. You know, the mosque meeting started. But at the end of the meeting, he came back to me and he said, and he gave me some money back. He said, bro, you know you get a percentage off this paper.
Come on.
I was lit. But that's a whole other story with another challenge towards later on in the show. But that's you know, we rose above it, you know what I'm saying?
So for those of you who may not be familiar with the Nation of Islam or familiar with the Fruit of Islam, what he's talking about is the Final Call newspaper. And this is the current edition, matter of fact. When you see the brothers on the corner, they fight rejection. They fight cursing. They fight all kind of degradation. Get that out of our face. We don't want no part of that.
That's right.
What that did for me and for brother is bring out of us courage that we didn't even know was there, because we were able to make the #1 program a part of our lives and a part of your life, because there's a fear factor, because most of us are afraid of what? Rejection. Rejection.
Yes, sir.
So there's a lot of us tonight. And matter of fact, let me just stop to say, again, you're watching the DJ Rockwell Radio show. And I want everybody, if you can hear this, share it, share it, share it, share it. You can be watching this live on Facebook, or you could be tuning in right now via our YouTube page. And we hope that we can get you involved, because at the second half of the show, we're going to put up the phone number. We're going to have you call. And also, you'll see where you can comment. Leave a comment, and I'll put it on the screen. So we want to make this show #1 in the podcast market. We can do it, but with your help. Big Mike.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to artistry, we do hip hop, and sometimes we get a little afraid to be artistically creative. Did you ever deal with that? And if you did, how did you overcome that doubt of saying, you know what, I want to say this in my rhyme, I want to say that in my rhyme, but I don't know if I should say that. How do you overcome that, the hesitancy?
Wow. First of all, you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to do it, review it, So it's plan, do, review. You got to plan it, do it, then review it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
See, for me at the beginning, uh, Chuck D was the most influential in my beginnings of writing rhymes after my brother, right? And so in the early days, I was stuck on Chuck. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So when you heard me, you would know, oh, okay, he must like Chuck D. You know what I'm saying? Which there wasn't nothing wrong with that because he was one of the best that ever did it. You know what I'm saying? And then in terms of his content, I was more interested in his content, but I was stuck on his swag too, his personality. You know, and so the challenge for me in the early days was mainly to find myself. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's the thing, you write something and then, your mind is like, they gonna say you just riding Chuck. You know what I'm saying? You just riding Chuck D or whatever. Well, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? But
Y'all both got them voices, man.
yeah, I had to get past that though. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I
right.
owned it, but I had to get past it. You know. And
Well,
so it's
brother,
just a matter of doing it more and more until you find yourself.
when I think about the subject at hand, and I look at our community, I look at our neighborhoods, I look at what the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, we are in a state of want, poverty and want, because we have this hesitancy to stand up and be ourselves and do for ourselves. And I'm here in Atlanta under Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad. And if I never heard from him again, there's one thing he always said. He says, some of y'all are afraid of success.
Mm, mm, mm,
Some of you, if success knocked on your door, you wouldn't even let it in.
mm, 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 mm. Man.
I want to know from the callers who call in the second half of the show. Matter of fact, we're going to open the lines in about 3 or 5 minutes. I want to hear from you about a fear you overcame or a self-doubt that had you locked in place. So, bro, speak on for a minute about the foodie spot. Tell the people about the foodie spot and what you had to overcome to open that successful business right across from Marks Mariana.
Good God Almighty. So, okay. So now, Spooty Spot right here, 7350 South Stony Island Avenue, where you gonna come get you some righteous food and some good old desserts, paradise desserts, of course. So that's the plug. We doing some renovations right now. Had some very necessary things we have to do in the kitchen and things of that nature. So in a few days we'll have the doors back open. But now my life has been on the block. You know what I'm saying? Because those 25 papers opened the world to me, because when brother gave me some money back, it gave me the reality that I could do something for myself.
Come on.
So I had a job, but I would leave my job and then hit the street. It got to a point for me that it didn't make any more sense to go to this job. Now that was me. I'm not telling anybody else to do what I did. Okay? It was just meant for
Right.
me. But, and you mentioned Brother Sharif, one of the brothers, Brother Raymond L. Muhammad. Man, I love that brother to life.
Come on.
Because he was a lieutenant under Brother Sharif when he was Brother William here or there in DC.
Yes, sir.
And Brother Raymond, for the 26 years I've known him, he's been doing for self. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
I would feed from brothers like that. And his mindset was, man, you got to set goals, man. You got to get out here and set goals. And man, don't go home until you reach your goal, man. That's what I learned from Brother Raymond. But that was my, the block was really my handicap. I don't knock it, but I got stuck on the block. You understand what I'm saying? And so, so the 40 spot, but see, the block ain't no overhead.
Boom. How about that part?
You know what I'm saying?
That
The
part.
block, it's like you flip it, you know what I'm saying? But man, when you go from the block to the 40 spot, man, you got the lease, you got the gas, you got the electric, you got the, you know what I'm saying? You got your personal stuff.
Come on.
So it was a fear factor right at the start. But I thank Allah for Sister Carmela asking me to be a part of it, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a transition that I had to make. Because look at us now. The block is dead. And we knew that was coming. The minister told us when he was giving us Project Exodus in 98. He was warning us that it was coming. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So, but a brother like myself, that was always my go-to. You know what I mean? But the 40 spot is a whole nother challenge on a whole different level, and it takes so much mental strength to actually overcome and to stay the course.
And I think that's true for anybody out there that has a business on their mind, has a project, an artistic outlet, a venture, a goal. What are y'all waiting on, man? How many people, Mike, out there got $1 million ideas, but you scared? But you think somebody gonna laugh at you? Come on, man. Again,
right.
I ain't trying to preach to nobody, but the reason I chose this topic for show number 2 is because, for real, this show wouldn't exist had I kept listening to the internal enemies. So what we gonna do, Big Mike? We're gonna go to the phone lines.
Come on.
What we're about to do is put up this number, and I want people, if you got a story, if you got an experience, if you had something happen to you and you broke through, call that number on your screen, 404-919-7399, to talk with Big Mike, aka Apacolips, and yours truly, DJ Rockwell, here live on the Rockwell Radio Show. We want to hear from you, because what I found out, Big Mike, is that it's people's testimony, people's stories. When we share those stories, people like, yo, if they did it, I can do it.
Yes, sir.
If they did it, I can do it.
Come on.
I didn't think I was going to be it, bro. I was like, yo, I can't do no radio show. I can't do a podcast. Man, I ain't that easy on the aisle. I ain't got this. My laptop don't work. My such and such ain't fixed. Man, do it.
If you had told me that when I first met you, I was like, no, sir. No, that's powerful though, because when I first saw the NOI Hip Hop Network, it had radio show written all over it. You know what I'm saying? But time dictates the agenda. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, man, it could be out of time. You know what I mean? But it's the right time now. You know what I mean? It's the right time. When we first went in the chamber, the blessing of going in the chamber was that it was during Ramadan.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So we were reading the Quran, and one of the things that I always focus on is what the Quran say for the believer. Man, the believer got a lot of promise in the Quran.
Come on, man. Say that part.
I said, I'm at least a believer.
Bruh, come on, man. Come on.
They say mere belief accounts for nothing except carried into practice, though. You know what I'm saying? So practice. We gotta do something, And so yeah. That thing I was thinking about when I was a baby. When I started playing the bass, I learned how to play by ear, And so what used to challenged me a lot is when I came across people who knew how to read music.
Right.
You know, that kind of made me insecure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I've been fighting that for years. You know, and even though I can play, you know, people say, man, you nice with it, or whatever the case, you know, I still had those kind of challenges, you know. I still had those kind of challenges, and it made me think about a time when I was playing for the Union Temple concert choir, and we did a show in Hampton, Virginia. And let me know if something comes through, you get a question or something.
Okay, and by the way, let me say that when you call, feel free to ask us questions. We want to hear from you. Drop a question in the comments. Drop a comment about something that happened to you if you're too scared to call.
Come on, man. Yes.
The number is right there on your screen, right below us. That number is
404-919-7399.
Tell them again, bro. Tell them again.
404-919-7399. I can see it because I got my glasses on. But
we want to hear from you. And if you don't call, me and Mike going to talk about how good God is and how he has inspired us to overcome our fear. And maybe that inspire you to tell your story. I tell you what, Big Mike, here's one for example. I started DJing professionally, and professionally only means I started getting paid for it. I started DJing professionally a little over 20 years ago. And I was so hesitant because I was in the house. I was what we call in the DJ community a bedroom DJ. And I had my little 2 CDJs and my little bitty mixer, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And people was like asking, yo, how much you charge? I'm like, shit, I do this for free.
Yes, sir.
And my wife looked at me and said, fool, they're trying to pay you. So, yes, and I was so, because all of my peers had top-notch professional gear. And I was like, I don't want to take this gear out in public, man. I don't want to, you know, I can play, but my stuff is like this. My stuff is, you know, I don't got pro sound. Remember your mama's house stereo and with the speakers, you know, in the corner of your house? I was taking those out. But I was rocking. I was giving it all I had. But in the back of my mind, I was like, you know, man, it's all right. But guess what? The bookings kept coming. The bookings kept coming. And guess what else happened? The bookings kept coming. Brother. And then I had a little money to buy me a real piece.
The right gear, no doubt.
I had the money to buy a real turntable. and the rest is history. The rest is history. All it took was for me to step outside of my comfort zone.
Come on, man.
This is DJ Rockwell, the nation's #1 DJ. And you're watching the Rockwell Radio Show with my special guest co-host, Apacolips, in the building.
Yeah. So real quick, I was playing the bass with the Union Temple the concert choir. And we had a show at one of them one of them holiness churches. That's all night concert.
Oh, come on now. People been in church.
So we drove to Hampton, Virginia. And man, when we walked in the door, this must have been the night of the bass players, man. It was about 4 bass players plugged in. They was doing it, man. I mean, they was doing it, right? I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I was amazed, you know what I'm saying? And everybody looking at me like,
what you gonna do?
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. So I went and plugged my bass up, tuned it, and put it down, and sat down. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
And that was because I had to collect my thoughts. You know, I had to get myself together. You know, so then now it was time to play. Now Union Temple's concert choir was like the main event, so we went last. So now all them bass players came and played with their choir, And the stuff that they were doing, when we were walking in the door, none of that stuff could fit with the songs anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then we heard just about everything you knew how to do before you even got with the group, right?
Come on.
And so I just laid back. And so then when it was time for us, I kept it simple. I locked in with the drummer, you know what I'm saying? And I did some slick A now and then, blue, you know what I'm saying? And then laid back down with the drummer, you know what I'm saying?
That part.
And, at the end of the day, they coming up to me like, dog, no, I said, no, that's you. Like, because some of that stuff I can't even do that you was just doing over there. So
right.
I get it. I get that, you know what I'm saying? But do you know how to come in here and lay down in the pocket with the rest of the band? You know what I'm saying? And so I had to talk myself into that. Man, don't try to compete with these guys. That stuff ain't gonna fit anyway with the groove.
On that note, let me ask you an important question. Question. The second part of the title is about self-doubt. Speak to how important confidence is in being an artist and being a musician.
Yeah. And it comes with practice, like practice, and know what you know. Practice and know what you know. See, if you know the song, and a lot of times simplicity is better. Less is more. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to music, because if everybody doing everything they know how to do at the same time, it's just gonna be organized noise. You know what I'm saying? Or unorganized noise. And so practice.
DJs heard what he said, because that applies in our world too.
Yeah. So you gotta practice and know what you know, and just know your role. Like the bass player, I'm a bass player. The bass and the drums go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. If the bass and the drums not locked in together, then everybody else can potentially sound like some mess. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta know your role.
I have heard some live bands, Mike, where I was like, they need to go back to the lab a little bit.
Exactly.
And you can always tell when somebody lacks confidence in the DJ world, because you can look in their face and you can hear their mixes. You can hear their timing is off. You can hear that they've lost the crowd, and they start throwing anything at the crowd to see what will stick. Mm-hmm, and if you're not feeling it, it comes out straight at you. It comes straight out to the audience that you don't believe in yourself.
There it is.
So we want to talk to you people. This is DJ Rockwell, the nation's #1 DJ, hanging out with who?
Apacolips.
I'm live from Chicago, and I'm live from Atlanta, and we want to hear from you. The number is floating right now on the bottom of your screen. We want to hear from you to tell your story. What did you ever have to overcome? What did you beat? What fear crippled you? That number right now, you can call us. That number right at the bottom of your screen. Don't be scared to call us. It's 404-919-7399. Talk live to DJ Rockwell and my man Apacolips live in Chicago. What's good? And even if you don't call, watch, share. And let me take a moment to stop. Go to YouTube. We're driving for subscriptions. You know what? I ain't scared to ask for it. I used to be a little nervous. I used to be a little shy about it. I ain't afraid now, Big Mike. We want you to subscribe to the channel. The YouTube channel's name is The Rockwell Radio Show. Go there and subscribe, because we're going to have live content, inspiring content about hip hop, politics, culture, what's going on in Black America. There's a lot to talk about, Big Mike.
Yes, sir. And with speaking of that, going back to Black Dawn, Black Dawn just in itself, and just in the name, is speaking of the time. They say the dawn is the darkest hour is just before the break of day. And it's real dark right now. You know what I'm saying? The world is real dark right now. And so Black Dawn, see, it's time for the black man to rise. It's time for the black man to come up into himself, to own himself, what I'm
Come
saying,
on,
and
come
to
on.
own their own. And one of the things about Black Dawn, one of the things that I'm happy about is that um, we didn't have to change who we are. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that we've ever written is relevant now.
Hmm.
And so we haven't had to be ashamed. We don't have to be ashamed for what we have already written. You understand? And it fits with the time. See, 30 years ago when we were speaking the kind of consciousness that we were speaking, people were saying, man, don't nobody want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is
Yes,
what they
sir.
doing,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Yo, man, if you ain't doing this, yo, if you ain't doing that, you know what I'm saying? We had to live through that. You know what I'm saying? But being the kind of person who never was interested in the status quo or the Joneses and things of that nature, because I didn't get into it because of that. You know what I'm saying? I got into it because, Allah gave me something to say. The thing that I'm saying is what saved my life and changed my life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So because I have a gift, you know what I mean, that has the potential to reach the entire world, because that's what hip hop has done. That's what
That's
music
right.
does. You understand what I'm saying? Then, I gotta be like Noah. Man, Noah took it, man. Noah building this ark, man, like, and the people like, yo, dog, you still building this ark, man? You understand what I'm saying? So, laughing at him, doing all kind of things, but Noah was focused, man. He's like, yo, I'm gonna tell you one more time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so, but he was focused, man. Look, I ain't tripping. I'm pretty sure he went through emotional changes or what have you. But he had to go back to the fact that God, man, was speaking to him
Come
on
on.
what he needed to do.
Come on.
And so that's what Black Dawn is. That's what Apacolips is. Too Slick. Oh, I got to give a shout out to my brother Too Slick. That's my blood brother. Black Dawn is Apacolips and Too Slick. We've been at this for years. You know what I'm saying? And then the
Come on, man.
Dogface Music, dogfacemusic.com. Daco, Big Harold, Trish, Josh, the whole. I ain't gonna try to name everybody, Paul.
Come
The
on, man.
whole
Shout them out. Let them know you're out there.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
So if you're watching this show, again, we're going to be here every Saturday at 7 p.m., God willing, with topics that relate to you, topics that appeal to you. And although that we are card-carrying members of the Nation of Islam, every show ain't going to be about the teachings. We're going to talk culture and politics. We're going to talk current events. We're going to bring on people that some of you be like, what are you doing on the show? We're going to bring on things that are engaging. Everybody not going to have our point of view. This is going to be a place for dialogue and learning. And that's what it's all about, is growing. But you can't grow if you scared. So again, we're waiting on you to call. We want to hear from you. The number is 404-919-7399. Again, the number to call in and talk live to DJ Rockwell is 404-919-7399. And let me just say, just in case, if you call up here clapping a fool, don't call with that. Don't call with that. If you're a bill collector, don't call with that.
No. We're gonna hang up on you.
If you call here with the craziness, we want some, but we might get back with you now. So let's not do it. We want you to call. We want to hear from you, to hear your story about overcoming fear, overcoming self-doubt. And something about that self-doubt, Big Mike. Some of us are sitting on so much potential, and particularly our youth. Every day when I travel around this country, when I travel around the cities, I look at our youth who are afraid to do something different, afraid to be themselves, afraid to try things that are outside of the circle of their crew because they're afraid of what people might think. You know why I know? I was one of them dudes.
Come on. That's right.
Man, I was one of them cats I wanted to do, for example, in my crew, we was mostly rappers back in the 80s. I wanted to be a graffiti writer. So I was writing graffiti, on the low, but I didn't share that with my boys because, man, we don't write graffiti. That ain't what we do.
Yes,
We were
sir.
rappers and people, but there's so many things like that. Some of you out there have a talent, but you're afraid what people might think.
Yes, sir.
One thing about the nation, which is our creed, is accept your own and be yourself.
Yes, sir.
You are not true to you unless you're doing that. This is DJ Rockwell. You can call us now to talk about your story. 404-919-7399. Talk to him, Big Mike. Well, you got a story like that?
Oh man, do I? Yeah, so I got plenty, man. But I think that's the biggest problem, man, is the mirror, the mirror of truth. And you said something earlier about us being afraid of success, and I think that what that stems from is, we know ourselves. I know myself. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times I'll look at myself and talk myself out of something because of what I know about myself. You know what I'm saying? So and instead of, we have the lesson that talks about, because the original man is the God, the owner of the earth, knows every square inch of it, chosen for himself the best part. He did not care about the poor parts. If I learn how to choose the best part of myself and not allow the poor part of myself to interfere with what the best part of me is going after, you know what I'm saying? Then I may change.
Come on.
So it's, hey, bro, I guarantee you, it's somebody that want to call right now, and they want to say something. But every time they dial all of the numbers, they dial 404-919-739, then they hang up.
Last number.
And so sad, because it's like, it's a part of them that say, I want to say this, but they still facing it.
Oh, and Mike, they watching right now. I see the numbers in the corner. They watching right now.
So, but it's like even with this, like, bro, I had to go through so many changes. Like I said, I told you I was gonna run in there and do a couple of jumping jacks and all this and that because it's the fear, it's the reverence. Because I don't want to play with this, regardless of my inconsistencies and things of that nature. When it comes to actually giving something to the people, I don't want to play with that. You know what I'm saying?
That's so important. That's important.
It's a nervousness just to even approach something like this. That's why when I write lyrics, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to play with the mind of the people.
Hold on, we got us a phone call.
Call from
Kadeem Amir Muhammad.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
You're live on the air with DJ Rockwell, the nation's number one DJ. Who's calling and what city you calling from?
Kadeem, bro. Assalamu alaikum, black man.
Wa alaikum salam, brother Kadeem. They picked up the phone. My brother, let me tell the audience who they're listening to talk right now. Kadeem Muhammad is the co-host of one of the hottest shows on Facebook, on YouTube right now. It's called Let Us Make Man. It's a great podcast, and I bet he's got a story to tell us about how it came about.
Well, Brother Vaughn, and let me say this part, because we're talking about fear, right?
Yes, sir.
And but I want to the show is Jock Brothers present Let Us Make Man, and just to say that because when people go look up Let Us Make Man, a whole bunch of stuff come up. Jock Brothers is where we at. But the fear part, brother, really is not about the show. I was thinking about, the first time I wanted to do something for myself.
Come on.
We get comfortable in corporate jobs. And I always had like the little corporate jobs, suit and tie guy. But the ideal of spending 10, 12 hours a day on the job, when you're in the nation, that really just don't resonate that well with you. We got a mission, we got a purpose. And all my time, I was giving all my time, energy, and effort and my mental power to a enemy who really didn't love me. So the ideal of my money was good. I knew that, but to leave and do what I was doing on my own and really compete against the people who were the companies, it's difficult to compete with $1 million industry or $1 billion industry when you don't have them kind of dollars. But I took that challenge, accepted that challenge. I challenged the fear, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us. We got to challenge our fears because he says that fear is natural.
Right.
And I remember I left a job. I opened up an insurance agency, and I can say 12 years later, I didn't have to look back. Two different companies.
Brother.
And that life is public life. I get emails at least once a week, if not more than that, with job offers. And I turn them down, and it's not about pride or ego. It's just that I'm in a space and in a place where I don't need their dollar for me to continue to be free. And they can tempt you with dollars because, the enemy offers you a lot of money.
Come on now.
But the brother just mentioned something about the lesson, but in the lesson, it was their promise of gold that tricked out people. So today they come with the promise of dollars to pull you and I away from the thing that keeps us free, that keeps us happy, and sometimes that dollar, it causes you become, when you get it, you're fearful. You don't want to leave it. See, fear restraints. So now you get comfortable being a paid slave.
Come on,
rather than going and be free for yourself. And you're not a free slave. That's an oxymoron. Don't have to be but being a paid slave is a reality in this world.
Wow. Wow.
So I wanted to share that, and trust and believe, brother. It's a lot of people listening that want to share, but their fear of telling about a fearful moment in their life is causes them not to be able to pick up this phone right now and tell you their story.
Brother, I appreciate you for being the first live caller on the Rockwell Radio show, and having the courage to relate not only just your story and inspiring others about that it can be done. So speaking about being done, please tell us about the Jock Brothers show real quick before you go.
Jock Brothers present Let Us Make Man. We air every Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. We got a lot of things going on, brother, and we're just so grateful. We having our show on this Tuesday with the national assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Brother Minister Ishmael. He'll be on with us live Tuesday. So tune in. YouTube channel is Jock Brothers. That's JAKQ Jock Brothers.
Y'all heard it here, live on the Rockwell Radio show. Minister Ishmael Muhammad will be live on Let Us Make Man, the Jock Brothers, this upcoming Tuesday. Tell them where they can follow you at.
You can follow us. Well, man, listen, we've been doing so much promotion. Facebook, shout out to Jock Brothers Facebook page down today. So right now, they will have to go to our individual Facebook pages. It's Brother Jackie Muhammad, Ahmed, Ahmad, Bay, Bay. You go to Brian Pippins, and of course, you go to my page, Kadeem, Khadim, Kadeem Amir Muhammad. That's our individual Facebook pages. Or you can catch us on our YouTube channel, Jock Brothers, JAKQ. You'll see us there. You can watch all of our shows there live, or you can watch the shows in the past.
Love you, brother. Thanks for calling in, Black Man.
Love you, sir. And may Allah continue to bless you in your show. I'm always tuning in, brother.
Thank you, my brother, for your support.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah.
Big Mike, what you say to that? What you say to that?
Man,
What's your
that's
response
the,
to the story?
that's the beauty of this kind of platform. You know, it's like because we learn each other. See, we don't know each other. See, the more we know each other, the more we can do things together, like and promote each other and build on each other. It's like just recognizing the God in each other and the best part of each other. So that was beautiful. That was beautiful. You know what
Brother,
I'm
we
saying?
have reached the end of our show. It's now 8 p.m. here on the East Coast. And Big Mike, but I want to thank you for rolling with your brother today, man. You could have been doing anything else today, but you chose to be on the Rockwell Radio Show.
Man, thanks for having me, beloved, and it's my honor and privilege and pleasure. Yes, sir.
Brother, please tell the family where they can follow you on social media and see what you're doing with Black Dawn.
Black Dawn, well, we got Black Dawn DC. That's the Facebook and the Instagram. Then you can go to www.dogfacemusic.com/Black Dawn, and you can get all the information on in terms of where we at right now. Steppers Party, we got to dance. You know what I'm saying? Steppers Party. Steppers, hey, you know what?
Y'all think that we as the Muslims just do this? Y'all think you didn't know that you can get a final call from the FOI and also learn how to do the latest dance at the same time? Tell them about it, brother Mike. Tell them about it.
I just want to say, we released Shine Your Light, but then when we released the album on July 10th, Stebbins Party just had a mind of his own and just started just doing crazy, you know what I'm saying? Going crazy. And so, and the hook, my wife is actually singing the hook. My wife made up the dance to the hook. And now we got the official video. It's getting ready to be released with the official BD, Black Dawn Slide. You know what I'm saying? That's about to be released. And the song itself is where our attention has been turned towards because it is it's actually in the top 50 on the hip hop R&B chart.
Wow. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Where can they see that clip about how to do it?
Oh yeah, you can go to my Facebook page, and it's because I share it all the time. Michael A. Muhammad. That's on Facebook. Michael A. Muhammad.
Well, we've reached the end of our show, family. Thank you for tuning in to your brother DJ Rockwell, the nation's #1 DJ. This is the Rockwell Radio Show. Next week, we begin celebrating Black Girl Magic. It's a new series that we're going to do because on the first show, people was like, yo, the show is dope, but where the sisters at? We're going to do sisters exclusively celebrating Black Girl Magic. And episode 1 of Black Girl Magic, we're going to talk to all female DJs. As a DJ, I can't help but do one show at least about the culture of DJing. And next week, we're going to have on some of Atlanta's best sister spinners to tell their story and hopefully inspire you that you can do whatever it is you want to do. So as we close out this show, Big Mike, we're going to go back to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and let him take us out with one more clip from that legendary lecture, Fear, Faith, and Truth. Here's the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Thank you for tuning in to the Rockwell Radio Show. Salute.
And I'm walking. The bull see me, I see the bull. The bull stop, and I stop too. And the bull put his head down and started moving his feet, you know. And I know what that means. And you know what that means.
Hold on, before I let that play, I need to give it context because it starts right in the middle of a story. Let me set it up for you all. In this particular part of the lecture, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is telling us about overcoming a fear. He's telling us about a time where he was in Phoenix, Arizona. And every morning at that time, he walked for an exercise. And he and his security detail was going out in Phoenix in some open field to exercise. And he said, this particular day, I want my security detail to fall back so it's just going to be me, you know, so I can communicate with God. So the security detail is a few paces behind him. And he's saying he's out walking in this open field, talking to God about a lecture he heard from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, saying that the black man should fear nothing in creation. And at the very moment he's going over this thought, he says off in the distance, a bull jumps out on him. And this is what he did.
Come on now.
And I'm walking. The bull see me, I see the bull. The bull stop, and I stop too. And the bull put his head down and started moving his feet, you know. And I know what that means. And you know what that means. And a little fear, you know, jumped up in me. And I just remembered the words of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I said, well, wait a minute. I ain't supposed to be afraid of this. I started walking. Now, wait a minute. I'm challenging my fear. I'm not saying you won't be made afraid, but you must not let things punk you. That's what I'm talking about. I couldn't turn around. I couldn't run backwards. I couldn't walk back because I had something in my head that my teacher had told me. So I talked to myself. You heard what he said. And brother, sometimes you got to talk to yourself now. Sometimes you don't have time to talk to yourself. But I had at least 50 or 60 paces to think this thing out. And I started walking toward the bull, and the bull never moved. He put his head down again, and he started doing this, you know. And I kept right on walking. And when I got about 20 paces from the bull, fear jumped in him. And the bull ran off in the bush. I said, Allahu Akbar.
Rockwell Radio.
Brothers and sisters,
Radio. Rockwell Radio.
brothers and sisters,
Radio. Radio. Fuck. Rockwell Radio.
brothers and sisters,
Radio.
Yo, this is Problem 13 of Wolverine.
Radio.
I'm listening to
Radio.
DJ Rockwell. Holla!